Hello, this video is for interactive brokers and my recent experience with the company. I've been with the company for 2 years and I've been originally very pleased with the company. I own, the reason I came to interactive brokers was because I was looking for a brokerage that I could have my Hong Kong stocks on, which interactive brokers does a good job with foreign stocks with lower fees. And I signed up, and I was just going to leave my stock in there, around $2,000 of Hong Kong stock. And I had many phone calls with interactive brokers to help me set it up and figure it out because I never had bought foreign stock before. And I told them I'm just going to have around, like 2K in the stock and leave it in there and not look at it and whatnot. And so I've left it in there for a long time, for a couple of years now. And I just went back and I saw that I was being charged apparently $10 a month, from what the guy told me, in fees, monthly fees that interactive broker charges, which was not aware. It was not clear to me that I was being charged. It was not obvious, and I'm sure I agreed to it somewhere, but I was just a little bit surprised about this, and I was not aware that I was paying this, and this was being taken away from my account, and I was not too happy about it. And so I called up interactive brokers. I wanted to talk to them about how what was going on here, and about my feelings towards this, and that explained to them that a couple years ago when I was starting this, they never mentioned it to me. And I think it would be best to make the fees a little bit clearer to us. And I think it was quite irresponsible of the person who sold me on creating this account and investing, because essentially I told him clearly that I have $2,000 just keeping in the stock. And if I was going to have these fees, and I told him I was not going to trade anymore. And if I kept it in there for the time period, it would be a 2%. Every year I'm getting 2% pulled away from my funds because of these fees, because I don't have a lot of money. So the $120 with $10 times 12 months, it's $120 of fees a year, and that is a quite substantial amount. So I was not too happy. I think it was a little bit shady that they didn't tell me that this was happening or weren't clear. But anyways, I called interactive brokers, and I talked to a guy named Bob, and I told him I just started speaking. I said, "Yeah, Bob, I'm worried about these fees. Apparently, I've been charged. And I didn't know I was charged." And I said I was not too happy about seeing that. And this guy, he's like, "I've been working at the company for 15 years." And he's like, "You got to be responsible. Take responsible for your actions." He was attacking me like straight on. It was quite unbelievable that a company would have this type of service. He's like, he's saying it's your fault. You got to take responsibility for your actions, man. He's like, I can only do so much. He's like, it's ridiculous. People complain. It's your fault, And I was just like, what? So I was like, I clearly realized that this is not the guy to talk to. He didn't even listen to me. Wasn't even able to share anything. I just said a couple sentences that I was unhappy about the fees, and he starts I thought he was gonna start saying F-bombs and stuff, but I was like, okay, I wanted to talk to a manager. He's like, yeah, you talk to a manager. I've been here for 15 years, and blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'd like to talk to your manager, right? It seems like I'm not gonna be able to have an adult conversation with you, and so he told me that his manager was going to call me, and I gave my information. And the manager, I can't remember her name. It was a female name, and they never called me. So I'm not feeling too good about the situation with interactive brokers, which I had 100% positive reviews before, and even recommended many of my friends to interactive brokers who were trying to buy foreign stocks. And I'm looking at transferring all my funds away from interactive brokers, which and not continue to use the service, because I don't feel like I think if at some point he's probably right that I had responsibility. I should have looked closer at the details, right? But first of all, he didn't even try to understand where I'm coming from, and as a customer service agent, you should never. It's common sense. You should not act like this especially towards your customer, right? It's really decency. But anyways, I also put in a message request, in the interactive brokers, and they said they need 7 to 10 days to respond, and they finally responded with this just standard thing. I told them my whole story, the standard, no empathy at all. Like if it was, I'm used to. I feel like these days there's a lot of companies that have great service. I just was dealing with Amazon, and it was. I guess I was being charged for Prime membership because after it stopped or whatever, Prime membership kept charging me for 7 months, because it's in the details that it'll continue. It was my fault. It was my fault again. But there I was clearly being charged, and they were sending me bills. It was just I didn't see it, and I wasn't using the service. So I contacted them, like, yeah, no problem. They're very nice about it, understanding. They know how to talk to their customers, and they even refunded me. They go over the top for their customers, and I barely use Amazon. And interactive brokers is I have I'm sure I am a small client to them, and they don't really care that I have $2,000 or whatever. I have a few $1,000. I think I have a couple thousand in cash, whatever. And but I'm looking. I am a Charles Schwab. I have a lot of money in Charles Schwab. That's where most of my money is, and their service is impeccable. Is absolutely impeccable. I've had them for over 5 years now, since 2015, and I have had the best experience with any fees or anything. They're very clear. Their service is stellar. So I'm looking to. I didn't want to do this, but I'm looking to get my funds over from interactive brokers to Charles Schwab and having it all in one place and whatnot. But I would not recommend interactive brokers to anyone, and I'm not too happy about their service. I talked to another guy too who was extremely rude too. So it's not even just this one guy. And I just don't understand. Like, I'm not even trying to be to be aggressive with them, I'm just, and I guess they don't have good training or whatnot. That's that. So I'm gonna get back to my day and done with interactive brokers for now. Thank you.